Good morning, traders and investors. Steve Gans here. It is Sunday, May 3rd, 2026, and I've got three different things I'm going to cover here today. I'm going to talk about our overall markets, as I always do. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Flyagonal is holding up, because that question comes up all the time. It's holding up really well, but it did take a little more pressure in this massive up move, and I'll cover that with the latest results. And then the third thing is I have a group that I call the inner circle. It is a group that people can apply to be in. There's cost associated with it, but of the last cohort that I did, which was the first one I ever did, and it worked out really well, so I want to continue it. I had 35 applicants, only 10 people were ultimately brought into it, because I'm looking for a certain level of expertise that people already have in options trading. I'll talk about that a little bit more toward the end of this particular video. Let's get into the market itself here right now. So my expectations on the market, as we've said, we had this massive run and breakout above the prior highs of 7,000, and that came with some decent volume. And we can see here that RSI has been pegged to the upper end of the scale for some time now. My expectation was that after a breakout, we might have gotten a pullback to around that 7,000 and then a resumption to new highs. We never really got the pullback back to that breakout. I still think that could potentially happen here, but again, we're looking pretty powerful right now. Now, I had talked about three potential factors in this power. One of those factors at one point was, I thought, a de-escalation in the Middle East and what was happening there. But at the end of the day, I really don't think that's having any bearing in its current condition. Whether we're escalated or de-escalated, market seems to not really care one way or the other on that. So I'm removing that as a factor unless something more major were to happen. The standard straits are closed, straits are open doesn't appear to be moving the needle. The second thing that I indicated was possibly a factor here is a more favorable Fed share to the existing government. And by more favorable, someone that's going to work to keep interest rates lower, which will fuel more investment by the corporate world and likely more profits in the corporate world. So I do think that's a big factor here. The fact that there is a Fed share coming in that appears to have more of a focus on keeping interest rates down. So that's certainly a driver here. And then the third big driver in my mind is corporate earnings. Corporate earnings have been extremely solid, and all expectations are they're going to continue to be extremely solid here. So when corporate earnings are up and projected to be up, our market is going to be up. That's just the way the whole thing works. So we see we did have a breakout. We did on Friday gap up a pretty significant amount, ran to all new highs, but then by the end of the day, we pulled back down, and we actually have a red bar here, which means that our close on the day was a little bit lower than the open on the day. Now, it's still an up day, you'll notice, because in this particular case, the fact that we have this up day is that our close was still higher than it was on Thursday, but the close was also lower than where we gapped up to. So a little bit of a mixed signal. Many people that study candlesticks will sometimes consider this what's called a shooting star, where you have a high open and then it pulls back. Sometimes that can be a signal that we might continue a little bit of that pullback. But even if we do, again, my expectation would be maybe a pullback to that 7,000 range, 7,100 range. But at the end of the day, we are in a pretty bullish mood right now, and I don't see anything derailing that in the near future. So let's take a look at the other indexes here. Of course, SPY is going to look virtually the same. On SPY, you'll also notice that on those up days, volume is definitely higher. So that is a bullish signal as well. When the market starts running, there's more people piling in at that point. They're chasing it. They have FOMO, fear of missing out. They don't want to miss that run. They're jumping in, which is, again, a bullish signal. Same thing here. If we look at the S&P futures, on those up days, we also have higher volume and people jumping in, chasing this thing a bit. We get to volatility on the S&P futures. While it's not back to its all-time low here, it's certainly at a reduced level down here around that 16 to 17. There is no real fear in the market right now, at least not in SPY. And then we'll take a look at the Qs. If we look at the Qs, of course, they're powering to all new highs. They're not even slowing down here. And that is, again, largely based on the earnings that we saw last week. There were major and very strong earnings from Google, from Apple, from a number of those tech-related companies. And of course, that continues to just power the NASDAQ and the Qs higher. Volatility in the Qs also back down, not quite to all-time lows, but certainly down at a very reasonable level, showing us that there isn't any real fear out there. IWM, even IWM is breaking to new highs. This is the ETF for the Russell 2000. That's a lot of banks and not what you would consider to be necessarily tech companies. But even that part of our market is rallying higher. So many times you'll have what's called sector rotation, where people will move out of certain sectors and into others. And that will many times lead to, for example, the tech stocks going higher, but the IWM pulling back because people are pulling money out of things like the banks to move them into tech. We're not even seeing that here. We're just seeing a lot of buying across the board in all different market segments. Then we look at the volatility on Russell, also not quite all-time lows, but certainly back to reasonable lows in volatility. No real fear in Russell either. Of course, when you have no fear in any of these other areas, gold tends to languish or chop a little bit sideways. Gold tends to be a little bit more of an asset that people might run to if there were overall fears in the market, and we're just not seeing much in the way of moves in gold right now. So that kind of gives you an overview of our current market condition and my assessment of it, which is cautiously bullish, but pretty solidly bullish at this point. So now I want to talk about the Flyagonal trade. And the Flyagonal is a trade that has performed extremely well now for a year and in a wide range of market conditions. But it does get a little more stressed in a big up-moving market. When you have a massive up move in a market, something along these lines, what tends to happen is the Flyagonal, just like an iron condor, just like an iron butterfly, they all have a range. And if the market stays within that range, the trade performs pretty darn well. If the market moves out of that range, you're going to take a little bit of heat. You're going to need to know how to properly adjust that trade, recenter it, etc., to help recoup some of the losses and possibly get it back to a winning state. And this big run up did in fact put a little bit of ding in the Flyagonal trades. So we can see the latest Flyagonal report here. This is from August of last year through the end of April this year. And we can see right at the top here, a little bit of a blip down. So there were two losing trades that came into play that were impacted by the massive run up in the market that took place here recently. The market ran outside of the Flyagonal structure. Those trades had to be adjusted, in some cases more than once, and ultimately two of them did not fully recover. I think one closed for about a $300 loss. One of them closed for about a $9 loss, but there were two losers that recently came into play here. Now, all that said, there have still been, out of 78 total trades, 72 wins. So over a 90% win rate, a very nice profit factor. Average days in trade did move up a little bit. This had been, I think, 5.4, if I remember right previously, just a hair longer because some of these we had to battle to get those trades back to a reduced loss or in some cases a little bit of profitability. The number of unadjusted trades dropped slightly. That had been, I think, 71%. A couple of them now required adjustments. The winning streak is still 31 in a row. Unfortunately, it didn't make it to 32 and 33, but there were 31 wins in a row. Then there was one loss, and then there were two more winners that came into the alerts, and then there was one more loss. So the streak of losers is still only one in a row. All that said, April did end up being a slight losing month, the first losing month. We had 100% success, and that put a ding in that. We can see the profitable weeks here. There were, back in this period of time right here, when there was another big bounce in our markets, there had been a little bit of chop here, and we had two losing weeks in that chop. Here recently, there were two losing weeks as well. Now, they weren't big losing weeks. Obviously, we can see in the overall equity curve that this continues to perform very well. But when you have the massive run that we had and the market runs totally outside your tent to where you do need to do some adjustments, and it's really important to know exactly how to go about those adjustments to mitigate what happens in that move, you're going to take some pressure. The plus side is that move that occurred in our markets was the only time in the NASDAQ that it had ever had that size of a run in that short of time. And in the SPX, that has only occurred about 5 times in the last 26 years. So it doesn't occur often, but when it does occur, we need to know how to address it, how to adjust the trade, how to deal with it. So that is what brought in the little bit of blip here. It will happen again. Hopefully, we'll start to get in a little bit of a sideways chop. And by a sideways chop, the benefit of the Flyagonal trades. And if you're not sure about that, I've shared plenty of videos on them. I'll put a link in the description down below so you can circle back to those if you want. But it has a very wide range, a 200 to, in some cases, more than a 400 or even 500 point range in SPX that the market can chop back and forth in, and that trade can still maintain profitability. So our markets normally don't range outside of that level of chop. Again, recently in this very rare instance, they did. So that kind of brings people up to speed on the Flyagonal and its overall performance. Now, I want to talk to you about one other thing that's happening here. That is the inner circle. So what is the inner circle? It's something that I started about 4 months ago. February 1st was the very first one. The inner circle is designed to be a group of more experienced traders, people that have traded multi-leg structures for some amount of time, and they're experimenting, they're pushing the envelope, they're trying different things, they're doing back testing, they're using AI in unique and different ways. They're working at modifying and growing, in this case, the Flyagonal trade. Many times it's people that already have experience with it, and we're trying new variations to see how it can be improved. I'm calling it basically a think tank, and this is an application only. Last time I did this, I had 35 applicants all ready to pay the full ticket to come into it. I could have easily taken 35 applicants and a nice amount of subscription income, but that's not the goal here for me. The goal is to make sure that we have a small group of very like-minded, focused individuals, and that group needs to be small and people with prior experience so that we can learn from each other. So I cut that group back to 10. It's been a very solid group. We've experimented with a lot of different variations on the Flyagonal, and that's what actually brought us to the B variant and then the Flydagonal, the D variant. And there are likely going to be some other variants that the next group will experiment with, play with, maybe even come up with better solutions. Now we're using a lot of back testing tools. We're using AI tools. We're using just all of our collective intuition and experience. And this group basically is going to last 100 days. When you come into this group, you get access to all of my courses, all the way from beginning options trading all the way up through the deep dive Flyagonal course, because we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, working from at least the same core knowledge base as it relates to Flyagonals. And then, of course, I want everybody to bring their own experiences outside of that to the table as well. It's 100 days of the alert service, so you'll get the standard alert service that everyone else gets. But then we also have our own inner circle within alerts, where all of us can chat during the day. We can share different concepts and ideas. We can share different trade variations that we're experimenting with, how those have panned out, etc. Now, if you do not have the Option Traders Assistant software, that will be included for 100 days as well. If you're already a subscriber to that, you'll continue to have a subscription there. But if you've never used it before, for new people coming in, there will be a 100-day trial of it. We'll have 9 different Inner Circle group sessions over the period of this 100 days. So every week or two, we're going to sit down, we're going to meet together, we're going to share different things that we're working on, different ideas that we have. At some points, I might have different guest speakers and things come in. This is essentially a mastermind group or a think tank group. There has been a lot of AI research going into this, my own, as well as some other people in the last group that were very proficient at AI that are working on some different things. Again, we're working on next generation variations of this trade. It's been a phenomenal trade, but that doesn't mean that it can't be improved. Everything we work on in the Inner Circle is for our members first. We're working on a lot of different new variations and concepts and ideas. Some of those concepts and ideas may get worked into a standard Flyagonal trade that will ultimately be something that might be traded in the overall alert service. But everything is going to get researched, developed, and designed here. So this is going to begin on June 1st. Again, it is application only. Scan the QR code up here if you'd like to apply. And there's more details on that page about how all this works, what all is included, the corresponding costs for it, etc. And then if you apply, I'll set up a time to chat with you. We'll have a one-on-one conversation about what your goals and objectives are, what you would bring to the table, and then I'll answer any questions, of course, that you might have, and we'll see if there might be a fit here for the next group starting on June 1st. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up here, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you in the community.